13-time Grammy winner, Oscar-winning songwriter, Detroit's own and Civil War expert, Eminem. Tonight he will be talking to us about the causes of the Civil War, which is the bloodiest war that Americans have ever seen. Eminem, since you are a Civil War expert / rapper, can you explain the causes of the Civil War, such as things like the Fugitive Slave Act?
Yeah, dude. Alright, so the Fugitive Slave Act, they were put into effect in like 1793. And so that authorized the local government to seize and return escaped slaves to their owners. And that, imposed penalties upon anyone who, aided their flight, you know what I mean?
And how did this lead to the Civil War?
Well, this led to the Civil War, right? Because the North didn't agree with that shiznit at all. And so they passed special legislation to attempt to circumvent the government, which the South did not agree with that either. And so that led to the passage of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. And so that just kind of raised tension, added fuel to the fire. I
know what you mean. So was that the only thing that happened in 1850, or was there anything else?
There was a lot of beef between them. There was tons of tension, which, that led to the Compromise of 1850.
What exactly was the Compromise of 1850?
Compromise of 1850, right? So that was between the North and the South. They were trying to relieve some of the stress between them, squash the beef. But that really just, that consisted of 5 laws, right, that abolished slave trade in D.C., but they also amended the Fugitive Slave Act in favor of the South. And that, honestly, that just postponed really everything instead of made it better, you know what I mean, dude?
I know what you mean, dude.
Yeah.
That you're talking about the North and South really shown in this so-called time era / war. It's called Bleeding Kansas. I'm sure you know about that. Did that add any stress, or did it solve any issues?
Well, I'd say it caused more tension just simply because, it was a territory, it wasn't a state yet. And so, you had, pro-slavery settlers and you had anti-slavery settlers, right, fighting over it, and there was tons of bloodshed, right? They were just, fighting and fighting and fighting. That's why it's called Bleeding Kansas,
This crisis in Kansas is a very big deal at this time. Now I'd just like to jump over to the state to the east. Can you tell me about this crisis that went down in Missouri about the Dred Scott case?
Yeah. So, Dred Scott, right, he was a slave at one point, but he was free, and he lived in a free state. But he moved back to Missouri real quick, right? And then the state told him, nah, dude, you're black. That means that you are not free, because this is a slave state.
So no justice at this time.
There was no justice there. They said that no black, free, or slave can claim citizenship in America. That is whack, you know what I mean, dude? That angered North a lot.
So did anything else? We got a lot going on here. Anything else you want to tell us? This history class. Anything else cause a mass argument among the North and the South, causing more beef?
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uncle Tom's Cabin, right? It was honestly probably the biggest controversial text about slavery because it had the ability to illustrate slavery's effect on families and to help readers empathize with enslaved characters, you know what I mean, dude? And that helped the 19th century Americans determine what kind of country they wanted. And so that contributed to the outbreak on war by personalizing the political and economic arguments about slavery. And then Harriet Beecher Stowe, which was the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin, visited Abraham Lincoln and he greeted her by saying, "So, you're the little woman who wrote the book that started the Great War."
And what happened when Lincoln won the election in 1860?
Well, Abraham Lincoln was a small-town politician. When he won the election for 16th president of the United States after beating out 3 major candidates, it And if you didn't know this, he was actually the first Republican president ever. But the reason that he won was because the Southern Democrats threw the election because they thought that if the government was ran by a Republican, it would have been easier to succeed. They were wrong though. But if they won the Civil War, they might have actually succeeded.
Well, we're running out of time here. I just want to thank you, Eminem, for being here and explaining to us the causes of the Civil War. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. We will see you next time on Skylark Tonight. Check. One.
To effect in like 1793. Yeah, and that authorized like the vote. Wouldn't have. That doesn't even make any sense. That whole sentence doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm confused.
Being here and explaining to us the causes of the Civil War. Gosh dang it. We'll do it one more time.
Alright,
Thank you, audience, for tuning in. And we'll see you next time.
Oh yeah, dude. Like the North. Like, alright, cut that.